before we start, have I got to read anything so I can take my binos off?
No, you don't need to read anything at all, bud.
Good. Everybody can see my beautiful face now, all right?
No worries. Are you all right just to crack straight on, mate?
Right, Philly boots. Let's go.
Lovely job. Right, well, we're rolling. That's it. We're rolling. Folks, welcome back to Brew Time. There's Brian Leek, the Peaky Biker. How you doing, brother?
So, mate, how are you?
Yeah, good man. So you got a brew there, have you?
Yeah, got a brew.
Lovely. Good work. Good work. Slange. Here's to your health.
Good health.
That's how we roll here, mate. Straight in.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, dude. Well, I've been on your midweek mumble a couple of times now, haven't I? Your live stream. So I thought it's about time I better return the favour and get you on here.
I've been holding you to ransom. I've been texting him every week. When am I coming on? Like Mark from Leeds. When am I coming on?
Yeah, Mark from Leeds has been chipping at the bit, going, come on, get him on. You've got a little fan there, haven't you?
Yeah. To be fair, to be honest, I'm going to give your clan dudes who go to the IBR a massive big up and thank you, because the last 2 years they've really helped me out in getting into the festival, because I have panic attacks and stuff like that. So
yeah, mate. Yeah.
Your little crew there, mate. All of them are absolutely fantastic. So you know who you am. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
They're a good bunch, aren't they? I'm very, very, very fortunate to have such a cracking group of people actually that seem to have got behind the channel, and they just welcome everybody in, don't they? So it's nice to hear they made you welcome.
Yeah. You know, pissed in me tent and stuff, but the men were welcome.
Who doesn't?
I'm an ex-army, mate, so I'll probably do it myself. But...
I was going to say, yeah. Right. Before we crack on with questions, because we've got a load of questions over on Patreon for us to go through. But before we do that, pal, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? Right then. My name is Brian. I am the Peaky Biker. So my vids are just about me. It's a relevance to me and my channel. I don't really do reviewers. I don't really do bike reviews, kit reviews, nothing. All it is just having a chat and just kind of getting it out there so that other people can interact and link in if they want to link in. So yeah. It's very much a vlog type channel, isn't it? Yeah, very much a you interacting with the viewer, but you're on a bike. Yeah. It's like if we can go back to old school, it's like an old school vlog where you just sit chatting and the interaction comes once the video's up and everyone's talking and stuff like that. Yeah, I noticed that you've got a really good engaged community on your channel. You know, like I'm not dissing you, but you know, we're not talking tens of thousands of subs. Oh no. But you have a really highly engaged sort of community that watch the vids. It's pretty amazing to see, to be honest. You know, channels. This is not me having a pop, but you know, like channels with lower subscriber rates, like yourself. What are you about? What are you, 2,000 at the moment? 3,000? 1,600. Just hit it today. Right. Okay, yeah, but you have like an engagement level, the comments and things that you get in your views. They're massive. The ratio compared to like the views and your subscriber base, it's big, man. That's a cracking thing that you've got there. I mean, to be fair, like my when you look into the analytics, the people who watch my channel, 90% of them aren't sub to me. Mm. So, you know, but I'm not 90. The type of person who I'm not going to, and you know what you're going to say, but I'm not the type of person who's going to go, sub, thank you. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, if you like it, then you know what to do. Yeah. You know, to be fair, I prefer to have more watchers than subs. Mm. At least then you're engaging with more people. Yeah, true. So, you know. Yeah. I think I'm sat about 50, 60%, something like that, I think. Yeah. Yeah. You do feel a bit of a twat, don't you? You go like, subscribe, all this. I just have the graphic. I just pop the graphic up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I've got is on my intro and my outro where it's got subscribe, like, and that's it. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I just think if they're going to keep coming back and watching it, and they don't want to subscribe, that's fine. But, you know, if they do, again, that's brilliant. But yeah, again, if they like you, then they'll hang around and they'll engage. And, like I said to you, you've got a high engagement rate there. That's good.
Yeah. Like I say, it's got to be relevant to me. Sorry, dude. It's got to be relevant to me. Do you know what I mean? So that's like, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? So I'm more happy if somebody clicks on and goes, he swears too much, don't like him, and they click off, and I'm like, sound, that's not a problem.
Yeah. That's something I've sort of realised now, is that, no matter how beige or likable or middle of the road you try to be, somebody somewhere is always not going to like you. So don't try and appease and please everybody. Just be you, and you'll attract, as I said it loads of times on here, if you're just you, you'll attract your community, won't you? And
100%, and like, we'll probably get onto this later, but, like you say, I attract the people who are similar to me. So like when I'm effing and jeffing and swearing and, shouting at the car door because you keep putting the radio on and up the music and stuff like that, everyone's laughing along with me, do you know what I mean? When I first started my channel, I had the odd, you swear too much. And I'm like, I can't help it. It's the environment I grew up in. I've had one person say, can you say more American? I was like, what? What? What are you on about? And he said more American. I was like, yeah, mate, I'm from Wolverhampton. I can say American.
So, right, okay. How did you get to where you are then? What's the story? How did you get into bikes? How have you got to where you are?
So I've had bikes since I was a kid. My dad rode motorbikes. So bikes has always been in and around the household. My dad's got six. He's one of six. They all had motorbikes. It was like, do you remember the old television program Bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, where all the cars used to line up outside the street. So that was my nan's house on a Sunday. All the bikes and all the cars would be parked up, and everybody had come for dinner. Yeah. And then literally I joined the army. Got into a little bit of trouble. Ended up joining the army, as most squaddies do. And then I come out the army. Just found it really, really difficult to make friends and kind of settle down into civilian life. So ended up doing my test. I did my test whilst I was in the army, but what happens is you have like a 2-year certificate that you can send off. But I never sent it off because I was just like, I ain't really bothered about it whilst I was in the army, so I never sent it off. And then when I got out, so I sent the certificate off, hoping that DVL would go, yeah, mate, no problem, and they never did. Yeah. So I ended up having to fork like 600 quid out. But yeah, and then like I say, it was more of a release tool rather than setting up vlogs or wanting to be a YouTuber or any of that stuff. It was just for basically my mental health.
Sorry to interrupt, folks, but just a quick shout out for this week's sponsors, who are, as always, Ultimate Add-ons. Ultimate Add-ons have been back in the podcast for the last few years, and I've been using their products since probably around about 2017, 2018. They specialise in phone holders, so both the mounts that attach to your bike and the protective cases that your phone goes in. Now, these cases are shockproof, they're dustproof, they're the perfect things to put your phone in whilst you're on the bike, and even if you do have a mishap, your phone is nicely protected inside that case. You can still use the phone, you can still use the touchscreen, you can even still use the cameras. They do a wide selection of mounts. I use the ratchet strap, which is actually in their cycle section, but you can pick any one you like for your particular bike or a generic one. It's up to you. Ultimate Add-ons are also doing a number of other accessories, things like action camera mounts. They're also now doing heated grips. They do things like a balaclava, USB, USB-C, power adapters, lots of different things. Head to their website, check out the products, and if you use the code TeapotOne with the number 10, TeapotOne10, then you will get 10% off. A massive thanks to Ultimate Add-ons for all your support. And a massive shout out to all of you over in the clan, over on Patreons, patreon.com/TeapotOne. I literally could not do this full time without your support, folks. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for going that extra mile with your support. You're also the backbone of the Brew Time podcast with all your questions. So keep them coming and we'll go from strength to strength. Yeah, because you've never hidden the fact, you have, you struggle with PTSD, don't you? Is that from the military?
Yeah, so there's a few scenarios that I keep going back to. And all as it was is basically, when I got out the army, or when you get out the army, that's your friendship group gone.
Yeah.
So you're not only are you leaving your job, you're leaving your friends as well. And then all of a sudden you're in this world where, like, I didn't know I needed to get into the doctors. So I just walked into any doctor. So I need to see a doctor. Are you registered? Am I registered? No, I ain't. What you want to do? If I just need to see a doctor, you've got to be registered. So all that, and in the army, you just go down to the doctor. Oh yeah, you're on the biff for 7 days, go and rest, sound. And like I say, you lose all your friendship group then, and all your peer group as well. So you get out, and at the time I didn't realise that I had PTSD, but you just end up, or I ended up, just being just an absolute nightmare everywhere I went. And I didn't actually realise the traits of PTSD, like stuff like drinking to excess. Like if you're riding or if you're doing anything, that's why I end up doing track days. You do things to excess. It's not just drinking, doing drugs or riding a bike or whatever. You're doing a lot of things to excess. So, yeah, it's just, I'm one of them. I'd prefer to come and speak to somebody and say, get the conversation going. So at least then that macho look when we was kids isn't there. Do you know what I mean? Because like my dad was probably the same as your dad. You don't cry in front of people. You don't show your mood. You don't show your mental health. You know what I mean? So yeah, well, I'm quite willing to stand there and put my hand up and go, yeah, I've got PTSD. I struggle. You know what I mean? It's better to go and get it sorted, or at least go and get it checked. Then
it's different times though, mate, wasn't it? Like even when we grew up, I would say it's only in the last sort of 10, 15 years really, mental health, men's mental health in particular, has almost become not acceptable, but it's out there now, isn't it? And it's more
accepted now than it was before. Do you know what I mean? It's like when I didn't know I had PTSD, like I say. So I was in that frame of, again, showing its weakness. That's people just jumping on the bandwagon. All they want is a bit of from the army.
I used to think that. I've got to admit, I used to think that.
Do you know what I mean? And, when you start speaking to people like yourself and other people who've served within the forces, not just army, police, doctors, nurses,
paramedics, nurses,
everybody. Do you know what I mean? So it's a massive thing. It's not just watching your mate get blown up in, I don't know, Northern Ireland or Iraq or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's a multitude of things that he can do.
And everybody deals with stuff differently, don't they? Like some people can deal with that. Some people can deal with incredibly traumatic situations and experience, and it's almost like you just sort of package it up and put it to the side and you crack on. And that might not come out ever. Or it might come out in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. You just don't know, do you? But it can raise its head. Or it just doesn't affect them. Other people, like, I've known people that deal with like a simple sort of incident in the old bill, but it's still, it's still a traumatic incident, like a car accident or something like that, but that lives with them. That lives with them forever, and they really struggle with it. It's just some people, we all deal with stuff differently, don't we? I suppose.
Yeah, I must admit though, I think that, like, for me, for my scenario, I was, because you're all in that close knit group together. That battalion, that 600 blokes are all together. You all see it and all doing the same kind of thing. So when you get a firefight or you get contacted, the first thing you'll hear is people laughing. And it's like that, people are just like, when you start talking to people, I'm like, what? And you're just like, yeah, because you just get used to the fact that somebody's shooting at you, or, you know what I mean? You just like, here we go again, off we go, get in a fight position, stop messing about, you know what I mean? And, it's not until later when you come out the system that, you realise, run, like, the best thing I said to my doctor, I was like, right, so when we leave at a patrol point, I said, so we have to run down the road for 100 metres, zigzagging, so the snipers don't get you. And he went, yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal, is it? That ain't me leaving the house going to work. That's not normal. And he was just like, I'll get your point now. I kind of seen where you're going with this. Yeah. So, you know.
It was interesting what you said there about, you know, when you came out the army and you haven't got your friendship group there, you haven't got your peer group there. To a sort of lesser extent, I can sympathise with that. I can really see where you're coming from, because the old Bill, certainly my experience in the old Bill is exactly the same. You know, when you're in a job like that, it is very insular, and you kind of lose touch with mates outside of the old Bill. I mean, look, you guys, Jimbo and Dave, and you know, like I wouldn't see them that often at all, and you had to really make an effort to socialize and meet up with people outside of the old Bill. And then when you leave, like it was COVID as well, I suppose, so the entire planet went in a lockdown. Yeah. But you know, when you leave, well, all those mates they've kind of gone now. You're not having that daily contact with people anymore at all. No. So yeah, it's not just me. I've spoken with a load of people who have left the old Bill or retired, and they all say the same thing. You know, it's amazing how these people that you're so tight with on a day-to-day basis, when you come out of that organization, it's just like, poof, they're gone. It's like that whole part of your life's just gone. And you do get left, don't you, with that feeling of, who actually am I, and what's next? What happens next? Yeah, weird feeling.
Yeah, you know, I was exactly the same. Like I say, you know, I probably went to the opposite end of the scale. So I went to the old, right, I'm going to go in a boozer, get drunk, look around, see who's the hardest bastard in here, and he's having it tonight. Do you know what I mean? And at that stage, you know, I was obviously getting a bad reputation, getting a bad name for myself and all the rest of it. But I didn't know why I was doing it. I didn't know why I was, you know, go down the boozer and get absolutely obliterated. I didn't know why I was doing that. But now, at least now I've been diagnosed, I can actually put a name on it and realise now the traits of what it is and when I need to stop. The different faculties that have come into it that I need to roll back on and keep, like certain people I need to keep away from now, not just making friends, but other friends that I've made that I need to keep away from. So, you know, it's I'm in a lot better place now.
Good, so, it's good to hear. So you mentioned racing. Obviously, that's how we met, was through my mate Jimbo, Dave, all that lot. Yeah, doing the no limits rookie series. Yeah. Was it the endurance series you went in for, or did you do the same as Jimbo? You were doing the normal racing to begin with, and then
no. So I started off doing the endurance, and then went into the solo stuff because I was like, because I didn't realise at the time, but once you've paid for the endurance, because the endurance was like 3 times as much as the racing solo.
Right.
And it was till we questioned them, and they was like, well, if you want to race a solo, because you've paid the endurance, you can race a solo for free. So everybody then in the endurance was just like, free racing, happy days.
More racing, happy days.
Yeah, we're more racing the singles now. So, but yeah, and then we just, like I say, we did, I don't know, 3 years of racing, and it was just phenomenal. I just loved it. Up until I broke my pelvis, it was absolutely fantastic.
Is that why you stopped?
Yeah. Shattered my pelvis, and you know, like I say, mate, it's one of them times where you hit the floor, and I'm like, shit, that's hurt, man. That's hurt, that has. And then you know, a couple of months later, I had a couple of months off work, and my missus was just like, you know, you're in your 40s, can we pat this on the head now, or what? Can we stop now? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was just like, right.
It's such a commitment. I mean, I was literally a bystander. I never raced. I was just like there to take pictures and hold stuff in the pits. That was basically it. But I could see, you know, Jimbo and Cookie and Dave and all and Jason. They started crashing. Once you start pushing, don't you? You push, you're gonna crash. And they start breaking stuff, not only in the bike but in themselves, and the money starts ticking away, doesn't it? And then, like you said, it has the impact on your own life. Then, when you can't go to work and you can't, simple things, you can't help your missus out with the kids and all that sort of malarkey. So you could see the toll it started having on. Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. You break your pelvis and try and go to the toilet. I swear to God. I swear to God.
It's that sort of stuff that gives you an appreciation, doesn't it? For those who push up to that, the epitome of racing, the real high levels. And then you see how long that they've been doing that as well. And you're like, Jesus, that's not only a commitment, that is a way of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a lifestyle.
100%. I mean, like, it's when we was racing, he's been on your channel. So Storm Stacey, his dad was our sponsor when we raced. So Lester was, God bless his soul, good old boy, Lester was. But yeah, he was our sponsor. So, and he was, like I say, he used to take us out when him and Storm lived in Spain. He used to take us out to Spain and
really.
The track days out in Spain and stuff like that. It was fantastic, honestly. Absolutely wicked.
Oh, mate. Mint.
Honestly, like you sit back and you're like, yeah, I've made it. I've been to Spain to ride my bike, I've made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's my grid girl or grid boy or whatever it is you want? Yeah. So from racing into like YouTube, into vlogging then. So what was it that sort of flicked the switch and you just went, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for
it. What, for the vlogging?
Yeah, to move into YouTube.
Right, so mine's a bit of a dark story, really. So after racing and through lockdown, I proper a really bad low. I was drinking all the time and I just really struggled mentally. Just really struggled on a constant day. And like I said, I didn't really know it was happening. And then I'd made a couple of little videos. I had a Harley at the time, so I made a couple of little videos, set a channel up. I'd messaged you a few times saying, what you doing? Yeah. And then I'd basically made a decision that I was going to end it. I was going to end my life.
Jesus.
So I booked a tour to Scotland with the army lads. We went and did the trip. Did a video, and this is why I say about being relevant to me. So I did it so that my kids could watch this back when I was here. So I did this trip. I did this trip and then come back, edited it, stuck it out there. Closer and closer the date's coming to me doing what I've got to do. And I just had that many comments and people emailing me, especially a lot of veterans. Just using, like I say, there were 6 ex-military lads all using military slang, military words, and all the banter. And there's that many military lads who was messaging me, this is class, this is brilliant, this is ace, I love this, calling each other a twat and bong. Like, we bought a lad some IPA beer, some alcohol-free IPA beer, and he was pretending he was pissed on it. You know what I mean? We was all crying, but he didn't realise he was alcohol-free. But yeah, so once I put that out and I seen what other people were coming back with, I was like, I can now see that you've got an issue. So I was then messaging them, mate, get to the doctors, go and speak to somebody, go and have a look at this. So it kind of put me in a position where I've gone from being the one who was going to commit suicide to being now the one talking people out of doing it.
Wow, man. Oh, are you there, pal? You're frozen on my screen. What a time for it to freeze. Oh, you're back. Wow, what a time for that to freeze. Sheesh. I had no idea, pal. I had no idea about that. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing it, man.
To be honest, like I say, that's why I'm quite open about like the PTSD and the stuff like that, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people will open up and, when I start speaking, I'm like, I was a bit angry. I was fucking very angry, but I was a bit angry and I like to have a good drink and all the rest of it, all these old sayings. And then you speak to other people, our generation a little bit older, they all go, okay, I feel like that. I feel like that. Oh, that's how I think sometimes. And then now I can see some of the triggers now So I'm like, you want to go to the doctor? Just have a word with them, see what they say. Just book yourself in and go see what they say. Go and get some help. So
it's pretty amazing what like YouTube and social media can do for people, like what sort of positive impact it can have. You know, obviously we're very aware of all the negatives, never more so than at the moment with all this shite that's going on with the riots and everything.
Yeah.
You know, people are just, I don't know, just, God, let's not even get into that. But
I think it's an excuse, to be honest. That's all it is. It's just an excuse to go and smash them up.
100%. You know, I look at the people that are on the TV, on the media, who are rioting, and they're the sort of people that we used to deal with day in, day out. You know, just scroats, just people that have got nothing better to do, and it's a good excuse to go and smash some stuff up and have a tear up.
Yeah.
It's just,
they've
just jumped on it. Anyway, let's not go there. But what I was going to say is that there's a chap actually who's been in touch with me the last couple of months, and he's recently set up his own channel. A chap called Craig. I think, forgive me, Craig, if I've got the name of the channel wrong. I think it's called Riding Through Grief. And basically,
Riding Through Grief. I've seen that.
Yeah, he's he lost his missus recently to cancer, sadly. And he's just using the channel as a way of basically just coping with the grief and everything that he's going through and the changes to his life and his lifestyle. And what he realized, exactly what you just said, is that through him posting up content, so many other people have started to get in touch with him who are obviously either have gone through losing a loved one or are currently doing it, or, you know, or will soon be losing a loved one, you know, on the various different stages of it. And it's just a whole community where everyone started to come together. It's awesome to see everyone helping each other out. It's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, that's one of the reasons why I keep going back to it about my channel being relevant to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You always say be yourself and all the rest of it, but the whole reason why I did it was so my kids could look back on my channel and see me laughing, joking, swearing,
being you,
me being me. There's no pretentiousness or nothing like that. It's me being me, and kind of, you know, for them to take a bit of comfort in that. But obviously, I never did it. but yeah, it was just one of them. It was just, you know, it goes through. I don't know about the police force, but we have like phases of lads committing suicide. All of a sudden, we'll have like 3 or 4 really quick, and then we'll have nothing for 2 years, and then we'll have another 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? And it almost seems like once one does it, it kind of allows somebody else, like that. That's what kind of happened with me. So the lad I served with, who was my 2IC, Watty, he took his own life. He was a fireman. He took his own life, and you know that kind of hit me really hard because he was my 2IC. He was like a young soldier, and like I brought him up through and made him a really good soldier. And that for him taking his own life, that really affected me, and I kind of felt like I'd almost let him down, really. But you know, and that kind of brings you down. This is going to sound really fucking morbid, and I don't want to be more.
Mate, it's real. It's real. It's genuine, and there'll be people out there who are going through what you're going through. So, you know, be you.
Mate, I can't be anybody else. I ain't clever enough, to be honest.
Which is the appeal. I'll always say this: like, people aren't daft; they smell bullshit. So, just be you. Just be genuine, and you know, you'll attract your crowd for sure. Right, awesome, mate. We've got some questions to be getting through. How about we crack on with some?
All right, we've only got 4, anyway.
I know, yeah. We got to try and beat Mossy, 7.5 hours. And we're also sponsored by the Influencer Store. Now I've got some blurb to read out for them. The Influencer Store helps you build your brand, big or small, providing you with a solution and apparel. We help you to increase your fan base while supporting you with starting your own influencer clothing line with nothing more than just an idea and a design, and there are no hidden costs. For more info, come check us out at theinfluencerstore.co.uk or drop us an email at online@influencerstore.co.uk for more information. Now, all my current merch over at TeapotOne.com, that is all handled by
Roger and Charlotte and their family over at the Influencer Store. So thank you for all your support. And lastly, a big shout out to all of you who are either watching a podcast or listening just now on your platform of choice. If you can share with your mates, tell people about the podcast and help spread the word. That really does help. And if you're listening on things like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you can follow and leave a review or rating, 5-star is preferable, of course, then that would be absolutely fandabidosi. All right, folks, let's get back to the podcast.
Right, first one. Well, this is over on the clan on Patreon, patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Debbie Clegg. Hey, Bruce. Hi, Brian. How you doing, Debbie? Question for both. Do you have a favourite military machine? For example, plane, helicopter, tank, etc. Historic or current? Have a great evening. Cheers, Deb and Ian. She says the Avro Vulcan XH558 is and was great. Shush, people will think I'm a nerd. I like the Lancaster bomber as well, and the Belgian helicopter thing. Ooh, the Chinook too. Jesus. Right.
Yeah.
Favourite military vehicle?
I think it's got to be the Chinook, the big helicopter with the two rotor blades on it. Yeah. When you travel in one of them, mate, you've been in a Chinook, mate. It is horrendous. It's like sitting next to a diesel engine. It's fucking horrendous. But
it's the sound, isn't it?
When that back comes down, mate, and you're running out with your kit, you're like, yeah, let's get to work. Come on.
Yeah. Do you follow
back to when you're 12?
Is it Liz McConaughey, the Chinook chick? Do you follow her?
Yeah.
Wow, what a story. I would love to get her on the podcast for a chat, just purely because what an incredible story. Have you listened to any of the podcasts that she's done?
No.
Oh, mate. Wow. She's got a similar sort of story to what you've just spoken about, just incredible story that lady has. Wow.
To be fair, mate, unless I'm on the podcast, I don't listen to it. I'm only joking.
Yeah, no, she's done quite a few actually. I think she's written a book as well now. But wow, just incredible story. The Chinooks. I remember in the Old Bill, I used to be in the Riot Old Bill, and when the G8 summit up in Scotland happened about 2005, which same year as the bombs went off in London. So before the bombs, we were all up in Glen Eagles for the big G8 summit, and it was all kicking off all over the place, and fighting going off everywhere. And at one stage, we were within the compound.
Was that Canary Wolf?
No, Glen Eagles up in Scotland.
Oh, Glen Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, the G8 summit descended, and they were having it at the G8.
Yeah.
So we were in full riot kit, and we were just getting this pep talk from our governor because they were away to open the gates, and we were going out to clear, basically because the protesters had started trying to come over the outside gates. It was like someone out of Braveheart, mate. It was phenomenal looking out over these fields, and it was just thousands of people all lined up in their different, protester camps. And we're just at the point where the governor's getting us all revved up, ready to go out. All we heard was pop, 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 pop. And we looked, and these Chinooks came swooping over the top with the back ramp open, and they just dumped down into the fields. And then all these Riot Old Bill came running out the back, and it was just like, we want to be there. That's well cool. How's watching them?
Why don't I get that cool?
Yeah, I know. It's like, how do I get that course? It looked awesome to see them coming in. Yeah, mint.
The only other one I'd do would be the 3-man Sabre, the reconnaissance tank I used to use. It's just a 3-man crew, but it's dead small. So we used that when I was in reconnaissance.
A reconnaissance tank?
Yeah.
How do you sneak that by anybody?
Mate, it's I swear to God, I reckon, I don't know, Mitsubishi Warrior?
Yeah.
It's probably a bit longer than that and about twice the width, but it's got a 50mm rod and cannon on, 7.62, everything, mate. It's ace. But, yeah.
I like, I've got to admit, I like the Apache gunships. I do like them.
Yeah.
I saw one of them. We did some work. Believe it or not, we did some work with the SAS once for it was like hostage work. So if a plane's hijacked, there's certain places where it will be brought to land, and there's things in place to deal with all that. And basically, all we were used for is just hostage handling. So the SAS will go in and they'll storm the plane, do their thing, and then everyone's brought out, and you basically just have to you take each person from the SAS, and then you have to run with them back to a holding area down the runway and pat them as you go, just looking for IEDs basically and weapons as you're running along. And if you find anything, there's like a firearms channel off of the sort of line where you're running people. So if you find anything, you basically just have to shout device, and you just throw these people into the firearms device, and if they move, they get shot, pure and simple. It's one of those things. And in the briefing for it, we were basically told, right, that hangar over there, do not go in there. Yes, boss, no bother at all. So obviously you get your cup of tea and you go straight into that hangar, don't you? And there was like Apache gunships and like all sorts of goodies in there. We were just like, oh, wow, it was amazing.
I've had it a few times where, because like I said, I did reconnaissance for many, many, many years. We've had it a few times where like you've triggered stuff and then they come on the net. Like Mark Horse one's 2-1 Alpha. I'll never forget that's what you read your number. So I'm like, 2-1 Alpha, this is, I don't know, Charlie 3. I'm like, who's Charlie? You're more talking, who's Charlie 3? Who's Charlie 3?
Where are you?
Who are you? Where are you fucking from? But anyway, you get you just need to confirm what you've just said over the net there. And you're like, what's just happened? I've just seen it happen. Right, Roger, literally 7 minutes, mate. I'm on the, you know what I mean? I'm on the LP. Open up, let me have a look at the recording. You're like, fucking, where have you come from in 7 minutes? You know what I mean? And I'm there, and they're like, literally, sometimes they've gone, you go back now. We're taking over the RP for 3 days, going to have 3 days rest. We're taking over the RP for 3 days. And you're just like, yeah, man. Fucking walk into camp, you're like, you've only said hello and a hand over, but
I know. But basically, you're no SAS.
Hold on. Here he is. Come on, fat lad. Hold on.
Is that your dog?
He's here.
Let's see him. I've seen the pictures. What's his name?
Nico. So
for folks listening, we now have a guest on the pod. Here's Nico.
He needs his own channel, mate. We met the people who messaged me about it. He needs his own channel.
He's a right character, isn't he? What is he, a bulldog?
Yeah, British bulldog.
Beautiful.
But he's massive. He's like twice the size of a normal bulldog. He's huge.
Lovely job.
Well, so if you hear him snoring in a minute,
I was going to say.
It's him. Nobody tell me.
Right, cheers for that question, Debbie. Next one, Mark from Leeds. Mark Anal. I'm so happy to have.
I was watching that. I'm watching it.
Done.
I think it's the third time I've watched it with you, Mark, and Sam. Mark Anal. I've even changed my phone last night with it.
Awesome, that's what we want to hear. Excellent. I'm so happy to have my bro on brew time, not you, Bruce. You love me, Mark. Brian, did you have a nervous poo before the podcast started? Also, how many Guinnesses have you sunk so far? Now for the question. Why did you start your YouTube channel? Love you, pal. Not you, Bruce. Cheers, MFL. Well, it's MFNL. MFNL. Well, we covered that, haven't we? Why you started the YouTube channel.
Yeah. So how many Guinnesses have I had?
Yeah.
I've had 3 already, just to calm my nerves.
You have been so nervous. Why have you been so nervous about this?
Mate, genuinely, I don't know. I just, when you first asked me, I was really excited, and then all day today, I've been at work, mate. I've been like, oh man, I don't want to make a dick of myself. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I just like, I don't know. I don't get nervous about anything at all. And like today, I've been like, well, how many times have I messaged you today? I was like his missus, kept messaging him every 10 minutes.
My missus doesn't message me, mate. Christ.
Well,
I mean, you've got your live stream, your weekly live stream. So I thought you'd be like, no problem.
It's the same though, is he? I've got control of that.
Yeah, true.
It's either same.
Yeah, true. That is true. I find it so much easier to do other people's though, personally, just because I don't need to think about anything.
I don't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just you're answering any questions, and you're just giving your input, aren't you?
Whereas, see, I'm the opposite. I'd prefer to be in your seat, having control. I don't let my missus drive the car when I'm in the car. I have to be in control.
You're a control freak.
That's just that's just the way I am. If we're doing something, I've got to be in control, and that's it. It's that. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like flying. I'm not in control of that plane. It absolutely scares the living shit out of me.
Really?
Honestly.
Has it always been like that then?
No. It's only since, I'd say, about 6 or 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, mate, I was just like, getting to the airport, and I'm, you know what I mean? You've sat there, and I'm having a couple of beers, and my missus going, you need to slow down. And I'm like this. I'm shaking like a shitting dog. I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to go. Do you know what I mean? Well,
I had Dave Perry on, from Wheelie Good TV. I had him on, was it last week? I think it was last week, yeah. And he said exactly the same. Like it's only since COVID, but he now has developed like a fear, real anxiety about flying. And he never had that before.
No.
Interesting to see you've got the same.
Yeah, 100%. Me and there was you missed this at the ABR this year. There was me, Dave, and Dickie Vegas, I'm going to call him. So me, Dave, and Rich just stood there in one section together. We must have had about 3 hours together, just us three, stood there chipping the fat. Do you know what I mean? I was a photographer. Everybody kept coming up going, "Can you take a photo?" Yeah, mate, I'll take a photo. But I've like I say, the first time I met Dave, it's just a sound bloke. Do you know what I mean?
He's lovely, isn't he? Lovely fella.
Before I met him, like it's one of them, like you guys. Sometimes you look, as small channels, we look at you, and you're almost like a bit of celebrities. So you look at them, and you're just like you're a bit like almost starstruck. Fucking Jesus, there's Bruce, or there's Richie, or there's Dave from Really Good TV. You know what I mean? But when you look at them, you think, I reckon I'd get on with him. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I told them a few stories. But yeah. Well, to be fair, go on.
What? No, go on.
No, I was going to say, to be fair, Rich asked me why I started my channel, which was probably a bad time to ask. So, I was quite like, yeah, I'll tell you, but don't feel sorry or nothing like that. But if you want to know, I'll tell you. It's not a big happy story, but I'll tell you. And then all of a sudden, you could see him both like.
I'm surprised Dickie didn't start bawling. He's a very sensitive fella.
I think it was close.
He's a lovely fella. I hear comments from people sometimes where they're like, yeah, like I think is Dickie not just a little bit up himself? People that don't really follow his channel and they don't know him. And I'm like, Jesus, you couldn't find a bloke who's less up himself. He's just the most genuine, open, humble sort of person you're going to meet.
I think I'd say for that, with my experience, obviously, it's like with you when people meet you, because you're a big strapping fella, are you? Do you know what I mean? Dickie's a good looking, thinks he's Tom Cruise with his sunglasses on all the time. Do you know what I mean? So
I really hope he loses his hair.
I think people have already got an opinion on you already.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, I've met a few people and have gone, you're actually quite short. I'm like, fuck off, will you? All right. I thought you was about 6 foot. I'm like, I am. And you understand the heels on.
How short do I look from down there now, then? Come on.
That was the old Brian. Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
I should give you ideas, should have. Right. Cheers for that, Mark. You dick.
Thank you, Mark.
Mr. Fish. How you doing, John? For Peaky, how many drinks does it take to grow cat ears? And for you, Bruce, we need to do cake. That's like the bat signal. Fish, you're on. I'll call you. We'll do cake. So, cat ears. What's that all about? Is this ABR?
Yeah. No, Warbad. So,
okay.
So, we got to Warbad set up. Had a few beers, as you do. Have a few beers in the afternoon, and I went with a lad called Lee and Jay, so the Crazy Legs on a bike, and another lad called Ballatron.
Mm-hmm.
So I set the tent. I got an air tent, so I was like pushing his tent up like as quick as I could. You know what I mean? I need to get to the bar. I need to get to the bar. To put this tent up. So anyway, so I'd had my first beer about 2:30. So by 8:30, I was well oiled, we'll say. So,
sociable.
Yeah, so I was very sociable that night. So Rich comes on with his bands. So Phil from my moto, there was me and Phil and his missus. So I'm like, once I've had a beer, I'm like John Travolta, mate. I can bust some moves out. So there's me and having a dance. And then I wake up in the morning with these cat ears on my head. So still got my cap on. So I'm lying in bed, still got my cap on, fully dressed with these cat ears on my head. And I was just like, where have these come from? Where have these come from? But yeah.
I hope you wore them for the whole weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I've put them in my back box. I've kept them. I'm going to glue them to my helmet.
Aye, Wild Bad looked good as well. I was gutted I couldn't do. Well, I chose not to do ABR, but I couldn't do Wild Bad.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And yeah, I got to admit, when the time came, I was like, shit, I wish I'd gone now. Yeah.
I must admit, like, for me, I really like ABR because it don't matter whether you do the trails or you don't do the trails. To me, it doesn't really matter. If you do the trails, then that's brilliant. But there's that much to do off the trails. Don't if you've not got a ticket to get on the trails, don't feel like you've missed out because you've not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that much. The talks, I really find the talks really interesting. Like this year, I met my bit of a man crush.
Yeah, Adam.
You know what I mean? So I met him this year, and you know, again, we had a good talk. So when we met the ABR of a night, and it's absolutely rammed, and Adam Reeman shouts at the bar, "The Peaky Biker, do you want a Guinness?" And I'm like, "Yes." Mate. And everybody's like looking round. Everybody looking around as if to go, "Who the fuck are you?" Do you know what I mean? Who are you? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you gotta feel like you've met it then. But
he does seem a top bloke. He does seem like that. He is going to be the bloke he is in the vids. That's the bloke he's going to be.
Mate, he's
just full stop.
Bang on. Like, you know, to be fair, he was doing the interviews. You know, like when I did the interviews. What's the lady in the gent called? Two Wheel.
Simon and Lisa.
Yeah, the two. Yeah.
Two
anyway,
Ride the World. Yeah.
Two Ride the World. That's it. So they was doing interviews, and at the end, you've had it yourself. Where they go, "Have you got any questions?" You know, everybody's walking around. "Oh, what are the best boots? What tyres do you use?" You know, and all this look like. So I'm stood there with my arm up, and I was thinking, I need something really out there to be completely different, so he remembers me. Do you know what I mean? So like, they come to me, you know, and you're like, "Oh," and he went, "Yeah." I went, "What is your go-to song if you feel like you're feeling low?" And he was like, "Oh." He went, "What's yours?" I went, Foo Fighters, Best of You. Like, sound, AC/DC, Hell's Bells. I was like, sound. Off he went, and you could just say, like, sat there, like, looking at me. Like, he's like, and then afterwards, I was like, "Do you want a picture?" And all this, like, so I stood there. There were probably 20 blokes there. So I stood there with my T-shirt on, like, and you could see him, like, but he's like, kept looking back, and he was like, "The music, man, come here." Like, so I was like, walked over, and he was just like, "How you doing?" I said, "Yeah, you want a picture?" And he was like, "Yeah, sound." And then he was like, "What are these badges?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, I'm a veteran, I'm on ex-military, and this, that, and the other." And then we just stood there talking. He was telling me about his kids and all sorts. And then he was like, "Come and speak to me later." And then he literally went to me. He went, "I'll be over there." He says, come and see me over there in a couple of hours.
Awesome.
He says, I've got to ride around the track and get some footage. He says, "But I'll be over there in about 2 hours." He went, "Come over." So I was like, "Yeah, okay then, sound." And then, you know, I'm one of them where I kind of don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe, but I'm kind of like, yeah, it's a bit of fresh air talk. I'll go, but I'm expecting to get knocked back. Do you know what I mean? So,
you know,
yeah,
I'm a bit like that as well sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So, so I walked over there, and I was just like, I wouldn't say I was standing there, but I was kind of hanging around, you know, going around the Benelli stand and this, that, and the other. And he goes, he just looked at me and he went, "The Peaky Biker, come here. And I was like, "How you doing?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he pointed at my logo, and he was like, "I recognise that." And I was like, yeah, I comment all the time, like, do you know what I mean? I'm a bit of a fanboy, do you know what I mean? Well, I called myself a brossette. You don't have a clue what the fuck that was. But
a brossette?
A grossette. Do you remember that, Bros?
yeah, I remember Bros. When will I be famous? Oh, yeah.
But,
we're showing our age there, boy.
Yeah, but he just looked at me as if to go, "What the fuck you on about?"
Yeah,
but anyway, I was, yeah. So, and then we must have spoken for about half an hour then, and he was like, he was on like my army career and what I'd done, and then he was on about like if he gets in trouble or he's worried about anything, he won't go to the police in any country. He'll always go to the army because the army are not kind of so corrupt in other countries than the police are. And I was just like, fucking hell, I don't even think about that, like, do you know what I mean? But it was fantastic, like, just proper genuine guy as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because all I can hear is Nico. Are you rubbing his belly?
Yeah. He's having a lick of my legs and I'm rubbing him.
Awesome.
Hold on.
Okay. Oh, there he is. There's the boy. Oh, he's a unit, isn't he?
Mate, he's massive. Hold on. See if I can tilt him. Hold on. Sorry about this, but I'm going to show you.
Yeah, for those listening.
Yeah.
Make sure you check this in a bit. Look at the size of that dog.
Right. He's huge. His dad's got the big gene in him. His dad has.
Right.
So he's a big old fella. He likes his food.
Unit.
Yeah, he likes his food.
Right, cheers for that one, Fish. Next one, Fen Tour. Martin, how are you?
Fen, how you doing, Fen? He's on my live on Wednesday.
Oh, is he? He's a good lad, Martin. Top lad.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, hope all is good there. I'm looking forward to listening to this brew time on my way to Dundee. Awesome. We've got a clan meet this weekend.
This weekend.
Yes, next weekend. Next weekend, we've got the clan meet, yeah. Anyway, question. Like many when asked, if you could only have one bike, what would it be? I always answered a BMW GS. Now, however, if asked, I would be torn between my Harley Fat Bob 131 and the GS 1250. So my question is, do you guys get Harley Davidsons? Would you consider one as well as the GS? I'm guessing not. Somehow it gets into the blood, well, my blood at least. Cheers and see you soon, Martin. Well, you had a Harley, didn't you?
I've had an Harley, yeah. I had a Sport Glide.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had an Harley. I had the Harley when I bought the GS. So it just ended up that I bought the GS and the Harley did about 300 mile in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's 14 grand out there doing nothing. So the missus spent it on the kitchen.
I get Harleys. I 100% get Harley. I didn't till I rode one. Yeah,
100%, mate. You can. My Harley, I had short sock pipes on them, and you can. I had the ECU tunes and everything. Mate, I could pop wheelies in second gear in my Harley. Honestly,
Jesus, really,
it was wicked bike. But like I say, once I bought the BM, and I kind of got the touring bug.
Yeah,
I was like, man, that's. Hold on, whoa, fat lad, what are you doing?
He knocked the camera.
Right, hold on. I've got to get him out because
no bother.
His arse is in the way. Out. Go on.
Bear with us, folks. We're just removing a dog.
Even tried a bit of an ump then as well on my leg. You know what I mean? Short something.
It's not made of wood. Harleys. I never saw the point in Harleys. I just didn't get it. And then my mate Mike Noble from Guildford Harley, he arranged for me to ride some of them, and I got it straight away. And I tell you, the fat boy still has a little place in my heart. I still really like that bike.
Yeah. I must admit, like I say, I think it's one of them. Sorry, I've got to reposition this because he's just fat arse, knocked it everywhere. Like, I've always liked Harleys. Always.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had a Triumph 120 Bonneville in 1967. It was actually a race one. It was an oiling frame one. But yeah, and it was just, that's what he always wanted. He always wanted a Harley, my old man did. So when I had the opportunity to get one, I was like, I've got to get one. So, but I'll get them. And I can see why a lot of people in America ride them with them long straight roads. Do you know what I mean? I get it. Even though when I watched your trip, when you went through that forest and, mate, it was like, what was it, something of the dragon or something? It was like
Well, it was just all around Appalachia. I mean, the roads, the big straight roads were the likes of the interstates and the highways. You know, like their version of motorways and big A roads. They were just big, not so much straight, but sort of straighter, sort of featureless roads. You come off that and do their version of our B roads, you know, that sort of stuff. Fucking hell, honestly, they were some of the best roads I think I've ridden. They were fantastic. Just mile upon mile upon mile of it.
I must admit, you look like you were throwing that Triumph about, mate, to be honest.
I mean, I'd love that bike. I was going to say little bike. I feel a right twat saying a 900cc is bloody little. But yeah, I mean, it was a great bike, a really, really good bike.
Yeah.
I jumped off that when I landed at Heathrow. I'd left my bike at Heathrow. So I sort of came off the plane, went to the car park, you know, got into my bike kit, jumped on my bike. And the 1300 GS felt like a blooming jigsaw. Like the foot pegs felt so high up and far back compared to the Triumph 900. I was like, oh no. And it kind of has not ruined the 1300, but whenever I sit on the 1300 now, I notice that the foot pegs feel higher and not as comfortable. Yeah. But I've just fitted the I'm doing a lot of stuff with Lone Rider. Well, I'm saying doing. I'm getting sent a lot of stuff by Lone Rider now, and they've sent me their moto pegs. So I've just put them on the bike, but I haven't ridden it yet. So I'm looking forward to riding it and seeing what they're like. Because like the stock ones on the 1300, have you seen them? They're like your thumbs. They're poxy, tiny little wee things. They're horrible little things.
When I test rode it, it felt like I had a lot of vibration through them. All my toes were I felt like I was getting numb in my toes.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I had like a lot of vibration. But saying that, you're a bit heavier than me and a bit bigger, aren't you? So I don't know whether. And secondly, like I say, it's just stock suspension. Unless, you know, I say this to a lot of people about riding bikes and stuff like that. And they go, yeah, I'll be there a day like you. And I'm like, yeah, that's sound. I said, but you need to, if you buy a bike, get the suspension set up.
Set for you.
It'll totally change the ride of the bike. It's completely different. Once the suspension is set up for you, it's totally different. Totally different.
But then the GS and some of the others, they've got the electronic suspension, so it automatically adjusts for you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but because I'm so small, it's like that age. Do you know what I mean?
I tell you what, have you ridden that M1000R?
Yeah, mate. It's like a rocket
what did you think?
It's like a rocket ship. You're just a passenger.
That bike has infected my soul. I can't stop thinking about it.
I'll read it because I'm quite the lad who owns BMW in Wolverhampton. I've been friends with him for years. Mm-hmm. So when I bought this and he had that MC was coming, and that one's fully carbon, probably the same as you had, all carbon.
Competition.
Yeah, and he was just like, go and have a blast on that. And I was like, yeah, okay, and then sound. So like, I've gone up and down the road, do you know what I mean? Come back, I've gone outside the BMW dealership. I've pulled back in and Drew's like, mate, what are you doing? I'm just like, mate, I had to do it. There's something in me that I just had to kind of get past the dealership. But he goes, everybody was up the windows like school kids. Look at him get past it. It's on your test bike.
It's the brakes. Though I have never felt brakes like that. They were phenomenal. They felt like they would stop you in an instant, but they almost like gave you a hug when they did it. It wasn't like grabby or anything. They just went bang, stopped. Phenomenal.
See, mine was the corner speed. I was hitting corners, and I was just like, wowzers. You can, you know what I mean? You can get the back out here. You take the traction control off, you can have a proper play with that thing.
I didn't do that.
Proper play with it, but yeah, I bought it back like a school kid being grounded. So
yeah, I just thought to myself, it would have to be my only bike. I would have to get rid of the GS if I got it. In which case, I've got to tour on it. I've got to do everything on it. I'm going to have to put a top box on it, and I was like, how am I going to put a top box on this? You know what I mean? It's just like, even I think that's sacrilege. But part of me goes, no one else will do that. You're like, oh,
you've got the jigs around the world.
Well, you know, I don't like to talk about it. But it has made me think that, you know, that's ridiculous. I can't go and spend 25 and a half bloody grand on this bike. I've got a J6R1000 sat in the garage just waiting to be ridden. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, pay the money and get this bike insured, and then I'll have my fun and games on the Jigsaw and the workhorse. I mean, the 1300 isn't fucking a slouch. It's fucking a nippy bike. But yeah, I'll have my hooligan time on the Jigsaw, I think.
That's what I'm looking at the minute. I put a video out a couple of days ago, just saying now, because I was going to swap the BM, but now I'm saying I'm going to keep the BM and buy like a little off-road bike.
Yeah.
But Marcus, my mate who lives down in Milton Keynes, I serve with, he's texted me today going, you want to try on 675, don't you? You know, the speed triple. I was like, yeah. So he sent me this video, all black, double acros underneath. I'm like, oh, mate. Then next thing you know, he sent me another video about 10 minutes later. He's going back to his house like, I'm like, oh, mate, I need one. I need a play bike. I just want something that I can go and do. It's like, now I've stopped racing, like, I just want to go just to get out my system, just going to do a track day or something, just to get it out my system, because since the crash, I have been back on track. So I kind of feel like I want to.
Since your pelvis.
Yeah. So I've not been back on track since, and I sold all. Well, I had two bikes. So two bikes. So I had a wet bike and a dry bike.
Yeah.
So then all my kit, literally all my kit went. Everything, generators, tyre warmers, everything went. And now, you know, you just think, I just want to have, just go to Mallory. Just go to Mallory. Mallory Park's only half an hour for me. Go to Mallory Park and just have one afternoon, just absolutely pinning the tits off something. Do you know what I mean? Just absolutely smashing it.
I know it's nothing like what you're used to, but have you taken the GS on track?
No.
Mate, find a tight circuit. Oh my God. Okay, the straights, you're just going to get, you're going to get everything will swamp you. But the GS corners so well. It's nuts.
Yeah, mate, to be fair, there's going to be a few people watching this. I've told this story a few times, but we've got a road up us called the A41 that goes up to Whitchurch from Wolverhampton Church, and it's quite a renowned road for bikers. Do you know what I mean? So this
A41 go all the way up there.
Yeah.
God, we got the A41. Yeah, we've got the A41 down. It's near Watford. No, outside of Watford. You pick up the A41. Jesus, it goes all the way up there. Bloody hell. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this it was a CBR 1000 went past me. There's me and another lad, and we was on the pack talks, and he come past me really close. You know, you just like red mist. Fuck's sakes, mate, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like red mist come down, I've gone down the gears after him, and like he's going through the corners like this, but obviously because you know we used to race, he tell you about all the track positioning, all that shit goes out the window. You just like, come on, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna catch him. Caught him up and went like on the road, so we went round the road, and I went round the outside of him on the opposite side of the road, like looking at him like that, shaking my head, and then we pulled up outside turn up, and he gave me a fist bump, put his helmet up, and he was just like, mate, you can ride that. You can ride that. And I was like, you can't ride that. I went, mate. You know what I mean?
Is that your dog battering the door?
Jeez. Come on, fat lad. Come on.
What's he do? Just batter the door?
Yeah. So what he's realised is now, if he bangs the door hard enough, the catch comes off.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Doesn't muck about that unit, does he?
Right. He ain't scared.
Right, Martin, thanks for your question, pal. Next one, Andy. Second attempt to add this question, so please ignore if the first attempt worked. Evening, gents. Hope this finds you well. Only a couple of questions from me. Firstly, what do you think riding your bike has? Firstly, hang on, let me get this right. Firstly, what do you think riding your bike has on our emotional health? Oh, I think he's missed a word out. I think it means, firstly, what effect do you think riding your bike has on your emotional health? I've personally had a couple of health-related breaks in the last couple of years and was shocked by the impact it had on myself. But yeah, undeniably, you're exactly the same as me. It's my release. It's how I deal with stress. It's how I deal with tension, anger, everything.
100%. I mean, I've got to give a shout out to my missus because, like, I'm on my bike a lot, a bit like you, but, I might just go out for an hour. I might just get, right, I'm going out for an hour. And there's no, like, are you okay? And she's just like, yeah, sound sorted. Yeah. I'll go out, I'll go and have a thrash to Ironbridge, come back, and then I'm like, part of the bike, I'm like, so I'm all right now. I'm all right. It's kind of, it's like almost like a decompression zone for me.
Yeah. It's a pressure release, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah, like I say, it's not just emotional or mental health; it's physical health as well. Do you know what I mean? It's you're getting out there, when you go to places, you walk, like well, I do, go and have a walk round and stuff like that, and you know what I mean. It's just sat there eating cake every. It is sometimes, but it's just sat there eating cake all the time.
I was going to say, don't dish the cake, Jesus, don't take that away from me.
Bruce is like, I fucking riding with you if you're eating cake.
I know, yeah. Cake's part of biking for me. For sure. Yeah. I mean, my missus is the same. My missus turns around to me and I think she spots it before I do when I start to get like worked up or if I'm getting stressed about stuff, because she'll just go, when's the last time you were out on your bike? It's like a gentle hint, or she'll just be blunt and go out on your effing bike. Just go. Just fucking get out the house and go.
I'm right to swear, I am on this.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. Yeah. I don't know why I said effing. I've got no idea why I said that.
When you said effing, I was like, mate, I've been effing and jeffing all over the place.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I normally do as well. I don't know why I said that. So, anyway. Andy, massive impact, pal. I think most of us, I'm saying most because the vast majority of the people who I associate with and have met through biking have pretty much all said exactly the same thing. It's exactly what we said. It's a release. It's a coping mechanism for whatever issues people, because we all go through issues, don't we? Yeah. We've got to deal with them somehow. Yeah, for sure. Second question. If you had to choose only one for the rest of your life, Bruce, you'd won the lottery, so don't need tours to cover the mortgage. Would you ride alone or with a group? Personally, as an introvert, it's easy for me. Lastly, thank Brian for his service. Have a good one. Right. So, yeah. Would you ride alone or with a group?
With a group.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Mate, when I did that trip around the UK for Scottish Little Soldiers, I tried to do a live of a night just so people could see how I was doing, basically. And then when I watched that back, you can see, like, the first 7 days, it was just my lives and my mental health was just going down, because I was on my own. I'm not a good person on my own. Do you know what I mean? I can
see your lives.
Yeah, I did lives, but
I didn't see them.
But I can quite easily. I can even listen to a song and get down here straight away. I'm not good up here on my own. I need people around me. Or else I just mentally, struggle mentally.
See, I'm almost the opposite in that I need my own time, and it's something that I don't get that much anymore because I'm always doing tours, or if I'm out on the bike, it's generally because I'm on a tour, going to or coming back from a tour, or I'm out filming something. So I don't really play the old violin. I don't really get out on a bike for me much anymore.
But then, if you look at this question, then, so when you did your around the world trip, was you looking forward to getting into like a town or a city or a village so you can see people?
Yeah, because that's when I would stay out. Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, if it's forevermore, it's the only thing you can do, then it would have to be in a group, because I am a social animal. Well, we all are, really, aren't we? But I do like my own space. So I think I would be 95% of the time happy just being by myself. But I do need contact every now and then. I don't mean just for that, like I do like
wear the wig, like
that. yeah, you know.
On a Saturday.
Not made of wood. Yeah, but I do like the social aspect. I love actually the social aspects of biking. It's amazing. I love getting together and chatting with people and hearing their stories and listening about where they've been and what they've done and biking history and just a backstory. Everyone has a backstory, don't they? Everyone has a backstory, and bikes allow you to sort of break that common ground and start chatting with people to hear it. Well, that's basically what this podcast is all about most of the time. We've all got a common love of bikes, and everyone has a story.
I've actually done a video about this, about the one day I just put on YouTube, I'm up to nothing, I'm struggling. Not struggling is emotional or nothing, but I'm looking at doing this, and anybody about so we can meet up. And a couple of people message me, we're going to the Superbike Factory, come and see us. And I'm like, that's what the whole point of it is about. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's the social side of it. Let me just shut this door, mate.
I say, is that a kettle that was going off?
No, it's the next door neighbour cutting wood.
Oh, is it? It's a bandsaw or something, yeah.
Mate, fucking test my patience, that fucker does. Honestly.
People, mate, people. Andy, cheers for your question. Next one, Ash Wright. How you doing, Ash? Nice one. Nice one, Bruce. Brian is a cracking bloke. I had the pleasure of meeting him at last year's ABR and also catching up with him at this year's event. Riding bikes on and off-road is my favourite thing to do, and I know both of you guys love it too, especially off-road. Hey, Bruce. I do actually like off-road. I do. Just wondering if there's anything else you enjoy doing other than riding bikes. Also, have you decided what new bike you're getting? From Ash. So other than biking, what are you into?
Mate, I'm going to give an idea, right? So I'm into searching for Bigfoot. Love that stuff. Absolutely addicted to that shit. Anything to do with aliens, and I'm gonna start something now. So whether the planet is round or flat.
Oh, no, you're not a flatter.
I've had quite a good discussion on that.
Oh, no, Brian, no. Come on. Do you know, this is weird, this. I am open to the fact there could be there could be like a Bigfoot or big feet out there. There could be animal, because we're finding animals all the time that either we thought were extinct or we didn't know existed, especially in the oceans. So, I'm open to that fact. Something might be out there. I'm open to UFOs. In fact, I pretty much firmly believe there has to be. They're just the size of the bloody universe. There has to be someone else out there. Right, or it's us. Or part of me just thinks it's us. It's just us. Either in the future or, Jesus, when you listen to some podcasts when they have physicians or physicists on there and they start talking about like multi-dimensional. I don't think I could. Multi-dimensional, like physics. Have you heard all about this? Quantum physics, when they start talking about that.
So when you can, I'm going to sound really intelligent now, but you can actually look and see how the world was created with the Big Bang Theory, because you can actually see it when it happened in space. So you can actually physically see it. Yeah. But Bigfoot. 100%, I believe in 100%. I'm obsessed.
I'm with you until you start saying the Earth's flat. No,
aliens.
No. Mate, I've been round the bloody thing. It's circular. Give me your reasoning behind why you may think it's flat.
No, because I'm going to go on a tangent.
So paranormal.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you experienced paranormal?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Go on, what's your story? Tell me.
So when I was about 8 or 9. I live with my nan. I don't live with my mum and dad. I live with my nan. This woman sat on the end of my bed. I woke up to this woman sat on the end of my bed.
Wow.
And she was like, "Morning, Brian." And I'm like, you're always like, "Fucking wake up now." Do you know what I mean? I was like, scared stiff. Nan! Looked up, disappeared, right? So Nan's coming. What's up? I'm like, some woman just sat on the end of my bed. And there was an actual divot where this person was sat. So anyway, so I've gone. So I've explained this person to my nan. She went, "Okay, let's go back to bed. When we get up in the morning, we'll go over to your mum and dad because I want you to tell your mum what you've just saw."
Yeah,
so I was like, "Okay," and 7. So then we went back, and the next morning went over to my mum and dad's, and she was like, "Right, tell your mum who you've saw." And I was like, "Yeah, big girl, black hair, in a bun, like a Chinese bun kind of thing." And I was like, yeah. My mum went, "That's my mum." I was like, "Fucking wowzers. Wowzers." And then she showed me a photo.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's her. It was sat on the end of my bed.
Wow. Have you ever had anything else?
Yeah. I'd had a row with my nan. Because my granddad used to take me when I was a kid up to like nursery and stuff like that on his bike. And I'd had a row with my nan. And I was like, I stood in the kitchen. I was like, fucking having a fucking go at me. You know what I mean? Having a bit of a, I was like for 12, 13, having a bumble to myself. And my nan used to do my dinner and leave it next to the hob so you could just warm it up. And literally the plate went like, bang, fucking smashed everywhere. And I was just like, I'm out of it, man. When I was working, went up to my nan at work, I was like, "The place just smashed, man. The place just smashed."
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe in paranormal, 100%. 100%.
Same. I've had so many people tell me stories about it. Like I used to work with this late girl called Dee in the old Bill, and she used to tell us a story where they'd bought like one of these old 16th, 17th century thatched cottages, out Essex, Norfolk way. And she would tell stories where like her husband and the kids would be out the house. So like she'd been on nights. So she wakes up in the morning and the house is empty, and she'll like go into the bathroom, the ensuite, and then come back into bed. And while she's lying in bed, a can of deodorant will be thrown from the bathroom at her. Or she'll go down to the kitchen, and literally everything will be fine. She'll go out the room, come back in the room, and all the pots are out of the cupboards and stacked on top of each other, and the stools are all turned up upside down. So it's like a poltergeist, basically. And she was fine with it. She was just like, "Yeah, well, they're not doing us any harm." And I was like, "They're throwing cans of deodorant at you." It's like, I wouldn't be living there. But
to be fair, it's like I never had nothing after that, apart from the plate picking up. But that was all within about 4 or 5 days that happened.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And then after that, I've had nothing. But that plate literally brought up like that eye off the side, and it went down with force. It died cracked because of heat and nothing like that. I physically sat here and saw what happened. You know what I mean? So people who go to me, "Well, I don't think that's right," or whatever, and I'm like, "Well, sound. I'll agree to disagree, but I know what I saw."
I was skeptical of it all, and then I've only ever had one thing happen to me, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast. But back in Glasgow when I was at uni, I was a bouncer in a nightclub. Oh,
okay, let me just shut this door.
Yeah, no bother, pal.
Sorry about this.
Sorry, mate. Don't worry about it.
I thought to myself, I'll go in the garage because it's going to be quiet. Fucking hell.
Don't worry, mate. No worries. I was a bouncer in a nightclub in Glasgow while I was there. And part of your duties at the start and end of every shift, the start of the shift, you had to go around and open up all the fire exits. Like they were all chained shut and padlocked shut. So you'd have to open them all up while the club was open, and then at the end of the club, you'd chain them all up and shut them. So it's the start of the shift. And the club I worked in was basically, I had 3 different levels on it, 3 different clubs. And I was in the attic club, the one right up at the very top that night. So I've gone in, and it's like you imagine a small dance floor, and then there was like a normal fire exit door, with a push bar. So you'd boot that open, and that opened to a totally bricked in staircase that went, I don't know, 6 to 8 flights all the way down. Totally bricked in. You could only get in from the top inside the club, and the door at the very bottom that led out to the back car park.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just, stairway, landing, stairway, landing, stairway, landing, all the way up. No windows, nothing. Totally bricked in. Emergency lighting all the way down. But well lit, you could see. So I'm walking down. I've gone down a few flights of stairs, and I just remember every time I say this, I get the old hairs come up in the back of the neck every time. So I'm walking down the steps, and then 2 blokes basically just appeared walking, like they've come up the stairs and they walked round the landing. So they just came into view and started to like take a step to come up the stairs towards me. And I saw them, and I was like, oh, basically, I think I said something like, how the fuck do you get in here? Something like that, or who are you, kind of thing. I shouted at them, and they started to look up. But before I saw their eyes, my mate Andy shouted from the top of the stairs, inside the club, because he heard me shout. He was like, big man, you all right? And I've turned round, and I've gone, Andy, get down here. Turned round, and they've gone. Andy's come running down the stairs, and he was a big unit. He's like a proper big strong man, this geezer. So he's come running down the stairs. I've told him, I said, look, there's 2 geezers in the stairs. We must have left the fire exit open. So we've ran down these stairs, and they're literally wide enough for the 2 of us to be next to each other.
Right.
That's it. They're about like 5-6 feet wide. So we've ran down the stairs, not past anyone. We get to the bottom, and there's still a lump of 4x2 chained and padlocked on the fire exit. So he's looking at me like I'm a dafty. And like, honestly, mate, there were 2 lads here. So we've unlocked the padlock, taken the chains off, opened up the door, had a look. Obviously, there's nothing. That was it. Didn't think anything else of it. And then later that night, we're both on the door, and the manager comes down, and we're chatting away. And Andy goes to the manager, and he says, oh, you might want to watch a big man tonight. I think he's been smoking something. So he told him the story, and the manager just went, like, oh, blasé, calm as you like. He just went, oh, yeah, those 2. The cleaners see them all the time. So obviously our ears have pricked up, and we're like, oh, come on then, tell us more. So he's saying the cleaners used to see all sorts of people within the club, and the main dance hall in Glasgow used to be called the Locarno. You can Google it. It was a big dance hall in the 20th century. Glasgow was famous for dance halls and stuff. And it used to have a balcony that ran down. You imagine a big rectangle. Well, it had a balcony that ran down the 2 long sides and one of the short sides, like at the first floor sort of level. Yeah. Well, when I worked there, it only ever had the balcony at the back, at the very end of the main hall. The other end was now a stage. But he said the cleaners would come in, and they would just see people walking in midair, literally up as if they were walking on the old balcony, that sort of stuff. Like, Jesus Christ. Wow. That's the only thing I ever had. My mum said, in her last sort of stages of life, she used to say that she saw her brothers and one of her sisters who'd all passed on. She said, yeah, they used to come at night. They would often come to her bedside. And part of me at then was just thinking, well, your brain's playing tricks with you. And who knows? Yeah. But who knows?
My dad said that. Like, I looked after my dad for his last 6 weeks. And, he used to say that, like, my middle name is Terry. So his younger brother called Terry, who died, I walked in after his operation on cancer, and he was like, Terry, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm Brian. And he's like, no, you're Terry. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm Brian. And he was going, don't call me Dad. And he was like, proper serious, do not call me. My mum was a big lad. Do not call me Dad. Stop messing about now. And like, in the end, I was like, he was getting quite aggravated, so I was like, right, the nurse went, just go out, just leave him. And I was like, okay, then walked out and left him. But even then, he was like speaking to his dad, who passed on years, and like my granddad passed on years and years before that and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I 100% believe in that. 100%.
Yeah, I can't explain it at all, but I can't help but believe it because I've seen it. So it's like, well, I don't know what else that could have been. Who knows?
That's the thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like you say, you've saw this. You know what I mean? I can sit here and go, well, I don't believe you, and I'm going, sound.
I'd have been like that till you experience it. Yeah.
Until you feel like it, then that was a long answer. Fucking hell.
That's what this is all about. Ash has got. Have you decided what new bike you're getting?
I'm keeping the 1250.
Oh right, yeah, so, of course you mentioned that earlier. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So I was going. I was actually looking at the 900 GS, the 50/50 one. I rode that the other week, and that's a bit of kit.
Is that the new GSA?
Now the GS, so it's the off-road one. So you got the GS, you got the 900 GS, which is the kind of 50/50 bike, and then you got the GSA, which is more road-going bike. The GSA. Right. So that the yellow one I test rode, mate, that was phenomenal with the shower forks and everything.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I took out the 900 GSA. I was really impressed with that bike. I'm really impressed. But wow, this is a bit of kit. This, could see that selling really well.
And that 900 is a literal 50/50 bike. You can ride that on the road and then literally jump on a track, get some knobblies on it, and you can go off-roading. You can go and do your tracks or your TET or whatever. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Do you remember Dave, Jimbo and Dave?
Yeah, Jimbo Dave.
Yeah, Dave he's looking for a commuter and a bit of a hoon bike, and I think he's bought it. He just went and test rode the F900 GS. No, F900R. That's what he's just test rode, and he loved it. Absolutely loved it. So
I had a ride of a lad in Scotland who helped me out. Was Graham? His name is Haggis Whisperer. I stopped at his house when I did the Scottish Little Soldiers thing, and he's just bought a 850. And when we went up to Scotland, that thing is apart from being chain drive, if it was shaft drive, then I'd seriously contemplate it because that thing was day way anything at all compared to the 1250, and you could proper throw it about as well.
Yeah, and I know you can throw it about as well. Jesus, I feel sorry for that bike. Christ. Right, cheers, Ash. Next one, Simon Lewis. Evening, gents. Fantastic to see Brian on Brew Time. Had a lovely afternoon with him at ABR last year. Although if he hadn't come for a wander, he may not have broken his ankle. Sorry, Brian. Come on, you broke your ankle last year.
So I went over on it in one of the dips, and it literally cracked. We both heard it crack really bad. And then I was like, because I'd had a couple of beers, I was like, nah, I'm all right, man. Let's go get some more beer. And then when I got back, it's one of your clan subscribers who's a paramedic. There's a man and a woman.
Paul Sparrow, yeah. And Heather.
Paul Sparrow, that's it. So Paul went, let's have a look. So then I was like, and you're thinking, no, because if I roll my trouser leg up now and my ankle's like that, it's going to send me. Yeah. I'm going away. So he was like, yeah, let's have a look. So I was like, oh, God. So I took my shoe off. Rolled my ankle was like that. It was massive. And he was like, oh, my, he's black already. He was like, oh, my days. You're going to have it. I went, I ain't going anywhere, mate. I said, I'm stopping here. I'm just going to get beard up. Like, I'm stopping here for the weekend. But, yeah, it was, mate, we both heard it crack. Both heard it snap.
Jesus. How many people do themselves a mischief at the ABR? There must be so many, not just from off-road riding either, just like being pissed up and walking back to the tent at night.
Right. I couldn't even find my tent the other year. I come back with Mark. In fact, it was this year with Mark. So we got back and was all having a beer. We was Vida was all having a beer. And you sit there and I was like, because I have to say it like you do. Where's Mark from Leeds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm sat there and I was like, where's Mark? He was like, he's going to bed. And I was like, you look at your watch. I'm like, that's only 11:30. So I've unzipped his tent, jumped in bed with him. Whoa, go on, wakey. Mark's giving, what? You wake up.
I thought you were going to tell me it wasn't Mark.
Yeah, no. Then it comes about. It was 1:30, not 11:30.
Good effort. What's he going to bed at 1:30 for anyway? Weak, Mark.
Just weakness leaving the body, that is.
It is, isn't it? It is. Simon's question. Many good track riders seem to switch over to adventure riding. Are your track days now over, or is the appeal to get your knee down on the GS still there?
I would like to do it, but like I say, I think for me to buy all the equipment again, all your levers, your boots, all your protection, just to do one track day, just to blow the froth off your beer, ain't worth it.
It wouldn't be though, would it? You'd be straight. The bug would be there.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back there, mate. Within 3 weeks, mate. I'll have a trailer, a wet bike, a dry bike. You know what I mean? In crack days, you know what I mean?
It is like crack, isn't it? I watched so many of you do that, like Jimbo and Dave and Cookie and all that. The first year at it, they were all just like, "We're just having a bit of fun." Oh, hang on, you've frozen.
There you go. I'm pedaling. I'm pedaling.
That's it. Get the kids to run more. Come on.
No, I'm a granddad now. My 2 kids are all grown up.
Blimey, are you?
Yeah.
Granddad Brian, eh?
Granddad now.
How's that feel?
A shock to begin with, but he's like 18 months old now, and he's granddad everything. He's on my bike. He's helping me do that.
Awesome.
I'm doing, you know what I mean? Well, even like when I was doing my pads the other week, I was like, right, we need an hammer. Do you know what I mean? So he's got this little plastic hammer, and he was like, bring it over. Right, hammer this. He's like, yeah, so go put the hammer back. And he comes back, and then I'm like, yeah, go get a screwdriver. And he comes back, gets a screwdriver, comes back, yeah, put it on there, do that, yeah, you know what I mean? He's just nice. I've got 3 girls, so it's for me to have a lad, it's a novelty.
Awesome, mate. I hope one day I'm in the same boat. We'll see. My boy is just headed off to travel now. So he's doing what I did. He's just disappearing now. So
mate, if I'm being honest, I've said this before to the missus, like, you know what I mean? If me and her ever split up, I'd just go boom, and I'll be gone. I'd just go. You know what I mean? Sell the house, drop the house in half, give the kids some money, and that's me done.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I would just live on the road for I don't know how long. I would just hit the road, and that would be me.
100%. Well, the 2 lads who come on my live on quite a regular basis is a lad called One Man One Bike. I don't know if you know him. He's done Morocco and all that. Went down to Senegal and all that lot. Like,
wow.
Old chap. He's in his 60s. Like, he just went on his own. Just literally went, yeah, I'm off now. I've saved enough money. I'm going. And Stefan, which is a Moto UK.
Oh yeah, Moto Travel. Yeah.
So and he comes on.
Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan's brilliant. So Stefan met us in Germany when we did the Black Forest in Germany, and he was like, because obviously we was with the army lads, and obviously being German, Stefan's like, I can drink, and I was like, don't sit in front of 6 squaddies and say you can drink, because we'll absolutely iterate you. Do you know what I mean?
Drink till you shit.
And then he got to the point where he got to the point, mate, when he just sat there dribbling. It was like this in the restaurants, dribbling everywhere. We were like,
in the restaurant.
We need to go. Let's get him up. You woke up the next morning, mate. He was absolutely hanging. But we all up at like 6:30. You know what I mean? We've had breakfast, brushed our teeth, gone for a walk, everything. You know what I mean? He's hanging.
Well, is he out in South America at the moment?
Yeah. So he's just doing his South America trip here. Again, this is another thing. Like when he goes places, I keep texting him. I'm like, do you need anything? Because obviously I'm still working within the military, so I'm like, do you need anything? Just daft stuff like tarps and stuff like that. Because obviously the tarps of the military are UV, so he can put a tarp up and he's covered for UV cover. So do you need anything? Do you need socks? Do you need boots? You know what I mean? Do you need a bit of warm kit? If you need it, let me know and I can just send it. You know what I mean? It's nothing for us, really. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's I've got a lot of time for Stefan. I like Stefan a lot. Yeah, no,
he's a good lad. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Straight down the line, he's a bit abrupt sometimes, but he's wicked. He's wicked.
But that's German, though, isn't it? Germans are kind of like that. They're just boom. That's it. Matter of fact. Bosh. There you go.
When we did Belgium, because he met us in Belgium, and we did the World War I stuff, and So we stood there. They was doing this meeting, and I was like, I looked at Stefan. I went, look at the havoc, you lot, of course.
Yeah, I know. This is all your fault.
Yeah, Stefan was in the army. Stefan was. So he gets the banter. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So he was in the army. So he gets the banter. So he just looked at me and gone, you twat. You know what I mean? And like me and Marcus, the lads, just walked off and he just stood there on his own.
Yeah, it's nice to made me feel wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we left him. Then we left him in a couple of days later. We left him in the restaurant to pay for the bill.
Did you?
Yeah. So we were literally one boy with me just like got off and walked off. Do you know what I mean? Just have like a 10-minute period. I was like, I'm just on the phone, but we'd all text each other on the group. And then next thing we come out, and he was like, "That's bloody 300 euro." Oh yeah, that's the kind of antics we get up to.
Yeah. Mental note: don't let him leave the table if we're out for dinner. Yeah. Or know what room you're sleeping in, neither. Because when you wake up and you get like a £400 bar bill the next day, that ain't good, neither. Oh yeah, when it's put on your room. Yeah. Second question from Simon: who would you like to have on midweek mumble that's not yet featured? That's a good question.
Adam Reeman.
Oh yeah. Have you asked him? You sound like you got a relationship with the bloke or a rapport.
Yeah, I've asked him before, but I've never got back. He's never got back to me, basically. But I've messaged him since the ABR festival, and he's emailed me back, and he's like, because the system I use, which is StreamYard, so on the basic system that you don't pay for, you get 2 hours a month free recording time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've said to him, because you've known I'm on midweek mumble, I only do an hour. I try and keep it to like an hour because I think that's for the midweek. That's enough for anybody. Do you know what I mean? And it's Wednesday night and all the rest of it. So I've said to him, I said, even if I can do an hour or an hour and a half with you, and I'll pre-record it. Do you know what I mean? We can, and he's just like, I've got a few things on, but leave it with me. And I was just just put it in your diary, just put a notepad, put something on your notepad, just so you remember it, you know what I mean? And he was just like, no, I'll remember it. I was like, sound right then, no problem. So yeah, fingers crossed.
He did a chat with the TAM podcast lads.
Yeah.
Have you listened to that one?
Yeah.
I tried to get him on ages ago, but he never replied to anything either. I'd love to get him on.
To be fair, like I say, I know a couple of people who's emailed him, and he ain't very good at responding back to people, basically. Yeah. But after the ABR festival, I messaged him and I purposely put my logo photo first, and then emailed him. Do you know what I mean? So it did take him like 4 days to reply, but I'm like,
he's got to be a busy lad, though, isn't he, as well? He's always doing stuff.
Is he pointing to me? You don't know who I am.
Right, cheers for that, Simon. Next one, Rebecca Christie. Hi, both. It was really great to meet you at the ABR, Brian, and thanks for putting up with our snoring next to you. Question to both. If you were able to be involved in the design and development of the next GS, what are you adding, changing, or updating? For example, plough attachments. Okay, right. She got another question, but we'll do the first one. So, what would you do for the next GS?
I'd 100% turn it back into a 1100 or 1150.
What, go down in engine size?
Down the engine size, 100%.
They'll never do that.
But all right, but they ain't going to listen to me. But what I'm saying is, I think there's something going on with all the competitors to get the biggest engine, the off-road.
It's Euro 5. It's emissions.
You don't need it. I'd go back to like 1,000cc engine, 1,100cc engine, and just put that system in like the 1250.
But you can't, like with the emissions, the reason they're going up in the CCs though is to get equivalent power or more power with the ever stringent emissions that are being imposed on us, they have to increase the CC. That's the only way they're able to do all this. So if they were to drop the CC, you're going to see a dramatic reduction in power, and no manufacturer is going to do that because they'll lose out to the competition. You know, somebody would have to be the first one to do that and produce a class-leading adventure bike, which is significantly less in terms of power and performance to its competition. And they would have to take the gamble.
Probably more usability because it's an adventure bike. It's probably more usable off-road than it is off-road. On-road. So the majority of the people who ride these adventure bikes, the GSs, the KTMs and all that lot, how many of them people ride not even off-road, not even a trail? They're more
I would say probably 97, 98% of people just do tarmac. Yeah.
Well, you know, for me, I'd take a step back and obviously I get what you're saying, but in hindsight, you could probably get the same amount of power out of an 1100 because all it is a map on an ECU. That's all it is. And obviously emissions, but you know, you could put a map in an 1150 and get probably the same torque and the same settings you can from a 1250.
You think?
Yeah. When I raced, my Triumph 675 was 116 brake. When I finished racing it and I had it spec'd up, it was 147.
Yeah, but is it going to be as durable an engine?
It's a plain engine in the day, you know what I mean? So it's going to work. 100%. That's what I do. 100%. You could tune that engine higher than what it is at the moment. You had your 1250 tuned, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had all of my previous GSs have been done by Hilltop, and I know that's a can of worms for a lot of people. I've no idea. All I know is they went to Hilltop. Jeff did his thing, and the bikes felt better. So, pass. No idea what he did. I've no idea if he did anything or if it was just in my head. But I've had 3-4 bikes Hilltopped, and they all felt better. They all felt smoother, more grunt, more power. So, pass.
100%. That's what I'm saying. You imagine that you could get the same out of 1150 as a 1250.
Yeah, but I just think that would have an impact on the durability of the engine. I don't know. I'm no mechanic. I don't know the first thing about it. Pass. But
skipping a rifle on sweet.
I would definitely, for me, my bugbear with the 1300 as is at the moment is the seat's not as comfortable. The tank is, I don't like this smooth tank because when you're standing up, there's nowhere to lock your legs in. Like the previous one had the wedge shaped in it, and that was so much better for being stood up, particularly off-road. And I didn't often go off-road, but when you did, it was really nice to be able to lock yourself into the bike when you needed to. The foot pegs are too high and too far back. They need to be back to where they were with the 1150, 1250. And bigger. And the seat isn't as comfortable. And please, for the love of God, give us backlit switchgear. Please, just give us backlit.
That's the one thing that absolutely annoys the shit out of me. Because I'm like, I had a Kawasaki Versi when I first started back riding, 07, and that had backlit lights. And I'm just like, I've just spent 22 grand on a bike and I can't even see where my indicators are.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean, I've got all this technology, you know what I mean? And I can't see where my indicators are.
I know. And you get all these people that go, well, you should know where the buttons are anyway. It's like, yeah, how often do you ride in the dark? You know what I mean? That's what really hacks me off, is that, Jesus, how hard would it be just to make them backlit? Just make them backlit, would you? Please, BMW, please. Yeah, I think that would do me, to be honest.
100%, mate.
Yeah, that would do me. I like the look of the 1300. I know it's Marmite, but I really like the X headlight at it. The radar thing looks a bit of an afterthought, front and rear. It's weird how they've just chucked that in there. But I love adaptive cruise control. I think it's really handy. Again, used to think it was a gimmick, then I rode with it, and I love it now. I like the sort of sweeping look of it. I like the new handling of it, how it's a lot more neutral than the center of gravity is a little bit higher in the 1300 to the 1250, 12s and 11s. And I like the way that impacts on the handling, but I just don't, it's not as comfortable. Not as practical. Is practical a word? Practical is not what I mean in the tank. The way the tank, just the way the tank is.
So if you had your old bike,
yeah,
and now, what would you pick? If obviously without money and nothing else involved, knowing what you know now and what you've had previously and what you've got now, what would you still go for the 1300?
Yeah, I mean, I've done the 1250, 1300 comparison, and it was really hard. I went down to Toro in southern Spain, and we did road and off-road, trail riding, all sorts.
We're
just jumping between the two of them. And it really was hard because one minute you'd be like, oh no, I love the 1300 is miles ahead. And then you jump back on the 1250 and you'd be like, well, actually, this is a really good bike, but by the end of the 2 days, both Lyndon and I, both of us went, no, I would go with a 1300. Just that 1300 engine, it's just unbelievably powerful compared to the 1250 was no slouch, but the 1300 is just, I just think it's a fucking different level. It really do. It's got so much, it's got grunt everywhere, literally from 2,500s all the way through. It's just pulls. And I think I actually do prefer that more neutral handling of the bike. Yeah. That's what I would do. I'm interested in this new GSA, I've got to say. Hated it at the launch, but it's really grown on me.
I said this to Dave, really good TV today. So I've been texting him today, and I just said, the more I look at it now, and especially the ones that have got all the stickers on it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I was like, mate, it looks like a sandwich box. That looks fucking horrid. Do you know what I mean? But now I've seen ones with like all the stickers all over it and the panniers and all the stickers everywhere, and I'm like, actually, it ain't too bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of, but then you kind of think to yourself, when I spoke to Dave, I was like, because I watched him do his live reaction to the launch, and I was like, why did they bring out the bikes that was all stickered up? Why have they bought out like a completely fucking plain bike? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you only get the first opportunity to make a good impression once.
First impression, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So why have you just bought out fucking 3 bikes that are plain? You want to bring out your best first, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Best foot forward, rather than just fucking 3 plain bikes. I was like, fucking don't get that at all. But it was a fucking strange launch, to be fair. I was, I watched it myself. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? The bird was waffling on. She was waffling on about the after party more than the bikes.
It just felt to me like it was a damp squib. Like they did the unveil. There was like gasps and silence in the crowd. And then it's almost like the presenters were sort of trying to deal with the fact that, the sort of silence by like really hamming it up and then talking about other stuff. I got bored. I just switched off. But I've got to admit, when I first saw it and the first press shots, I was just like, oh my God, well, they've killed the brand. I genuinely thought, what have you done? You've killed this brand. Literally the next day, I saw a picture of the red and silver one at a different angle. And that one picture made me go, ooh, I quite like that. And then it just grew.
I had Andy on my live on the night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was coming out the following morning. That was he was on my live of the night.
Well, TMF.
Yeah. All three of us watching. So anyway, the 26, Andy. All right, don't start with that shit. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, so he said to us, he went, it's fucking horrid. I've seen some spoil shots, like it's fucking horrid. And I think, to be fair, like I say, when I seen him, I was like, mate, that is a fucking ugly bike. That is too boxy, too square.
It's too different.
It's too. You've gone too much here. You know what I mean? Changing the headlights. Whoa, don't do that. But they did.
Yeah.
But but now, like I say, now I've seen some with all the stickers all over it and the box panniers at the front, your bags at the front and everything. I'm kind of like,
that's exactly why that bike is going to be a massive seller.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what
because it's so different.
That is going to be, it's going to go like that. It's going to do. Because it ain't going to ride like a bag of shit, is it, at the end of the day?
Absolutely not. It's going to ride unbelievably well, and it's going to be so different that the BMW crowd, the GS crowd, they're going to flock to it. Once that hits the showrooms and it's out and people start seeing it out and about, I think it's going to be a massive seller.
It's going to be at the bike show, right? And then NEC. That's the first.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the. I don't. Oh fuck. So I've been told it's going to be. It's going to be. There's a little rumour there. Just
Well,
it might be at the bike show at the NEC.
I won't be invited there by BMW. I'll tell you that. I'm in their bad books, so that's that. Then never mind. Rebecca's got a second question. She says, Heinz or Branston baked beans? Oh,
Branston.
It's got to be Heinz. What?
Branston.
Why?
Because I'll tell you something now, right? About 2 years ago, they must have changed something. Heinz must have, because it tastes completely fucking different.
It's the sugar. They don't put as much sugar in it anymore. That's why. It's like Iron Brew. When they stop putting the sugar in and all the chemicals, so you fucked it. You fucked it. It's not Iron Brew anymore. And they've actually had to go back and start putting it in. Yeah. That's a good point. I'll try Branston then. I haven't tried them in a long time.
We only have Branston as a family. That's all we have. We eat a lot of beans as well. We do. It's all my kids are fucking. That's all my kids will eat. Beans. Beans on toast and scrambled egg on toast.
Oh, do you know beans on toast? I've not had beans on toast in so long. Yeah, I'm here. Right, folks, we're back in the room. Little slight technical issue and then a comfort break. So, Rebecca, thank you very much for those questions.
Thank you.
Last two. David McCracken. Evening both. Hope you're both fine and dandy. All good, thank you, David. I'm sure you've owned and ridden many motorcycles over the years. Is there any one bike you wish you'd never parted with? Ooh.
My Harley.
Really?
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
You looked back in time there when you said that. There was like proper sorrow in your eyes.
Honestly, mate, it's the only bike that my missus had come on the back with me.
She'll come back on a GS.
She'll come on the back with me.
Wow. So would you trade the GS in for one?
Nah, what the fuck. No chance. No chance at all. I couldn't. I think, when I get to that point in my life where, you can start relaxing and, the kids have moved out and all the rest of it. I think I'd buy an Harley then, but at the moment, out of everything I've owned, 100% I'd have an Harley again. 100%.
Yeah. For me, I had a Gixxer Thou, which was the fastest Gixxer Thou, the best Gixxer Thou I've ever had. My mate Ollie, he's the mechanic guy that has just got the beast back on the road, the World Trip Gixxer back on the road. He tweaked it. So he used to do my spanner, and he worked at the dealership that I used to use, and they did something out of a Yoshi system on it, and they did something, and it was just an amazing machine. That's the one I took around the Nürburgring with Jimbo that time, and then literally the next day I get racing Jimbo in the Black Forest, and I threw myself off a mountain and smashed the bike up. It's the last I saw of it. But that bike was an unbelievable machine. So yeah, I wish I could chop my leg over that again. That was a bike and a half. That
a
lot of memories with that. David also says, how long do you think you'd last in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, I did reconnaissance for 8 years, so I reckon I've got a good chance.
Did you ever you weren't 14 in, were you? Enough said.
Yes.
Right. I'll receive.
I have done 14 in, yeah.
Last one, Wheelie Good TV. How you doing, Dave? Hey, Bruce.
Yes, Davey boy!
Said, I'd love to know how many pints of Guinness Brian thinks he drank at the ABR over the entire weekend. Whatever he says, double it. Looking forward to watching this one. He's a great bloke. Guinness seems to be like it's a common theme at the ABR with you.
I like. To be honest, I think it's one of them ones where you drink.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? As a 47-year-old bloke, I know that I can have a belly full of Guinness and still get up at 6:30 and get to work fine.
Jesus.
Do you know what I mean? And I reckon. Yeah, here's one for you then, right? So we worked it out, me and Jay, Crazy Legs on a Bike, me and him worked it out. So Wallbad Weekender. So if I drank 2 pints an hour, which I can't drink 2 pints an hour because I drink quicker than that. But if I drank 2 pints an hour, I'd have had 20 pints. If I drank 2 pints an hour. So
see, I come out the gates and I'll be supping away and I'll knock the beers back. But after about 5-6 beers, my consumption rate really drops off. I might be a 1 an hour, maybe. It totally just dwindles away. I think it does. I don't know. I just find that I have times when the beer just goes, it just flows, and I've got absolutely no idea how many.
It all depends on what you've had to eat previously, though.
Eating's cheating. So you don't eat.
So if you ask Phil for my motto, that was my saying for the whole weekend. Have you had something to eat? I'd go, eating's cheating. You don't eat when you drink.
Yeah, if I'm on it, I don't eat. No.
Yeah, no. So, but like I say, I reckon that Friday I must have had, pardon me, easily 20 points.
Jesus.
Easily. And then I was up at 6:30.
Oh no, I can't do that anymore. I am done for like a week after a night on the beer.
I don't get hangovers on Guinness.
Jesus.
I don't get hangovers. Or port. I can have port as well. I don't, because port's our regimental drink, so I can drink port, and you know what I mean. I'm hanging. I'm absolutely obliterated, but I can still get up at 6:30 and go to work. Like, you know what I mean.
Jesus. I look back in the day. I remember like those times when I was working in the nightclub, uni days. Jesus Christ, we were like, I'd finish work. You'd finish work at 4 or 5 in the morning. You'd have a couple of beers, and then on a night off, you would be on it, just properly on it. So you're just drinking all the time. And the early days of the old bill, God, if you weren't working, if it was a day off, then everyone would be on the piss. So you'd finish nights and go straight to like the early house or something, and you'd be on it. Christ, I can't do that anymore.
I must admit, we went to Benidorm. There was 16 of us. Army lads went to Benidorm for 4 days. And when I got back, my miss was like, "What you had to eat?" And I was like, "You're like, fucking can't remember." You know what I mean? So I got on the bank account, look through my phone. In 2 days, all I'd had was a McDonald's and a KFC. In 4 days, that's all I had to eat. Everything else was beer. I was like, get amongst it.
Yeah, but on each one, you ate the entire menu, didn't you? You sit there and just got, "I'll have all of that, please."
Yeah. What do you want? Just a bucket? I have what it is.
Start top left and work your way down.
Yeah.
Dude, that's all the questions. There were a couple of comments and stuff over on like Insta and Facebook, but it was just people saying they couldn't wait to watch it and listen to it, and you're top bloke and blowing smoke up your arse, basically. So that's all the questions.
Thank you.
Happy days.
Genuinely, I really appreciate all the nice comments. Honestly, I do. It's very strange to have people be nice. So thank you.
It is weird, isn't it? You do kind of think I'm not like that now as much, but initially I used to think, are people taking the piss? When people pay you a compliment, you're just like, you're waiting for the and the dig, that sort of stuff.
You're okay, but
yeah, you're all right for a fat lad, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but it's It does take a little bit of getting used to it, but I tell you, it's the measure of a man, mate. Like people don't say stuff like that to the extent that they do unless they mean it, you know. So, you know,
like I say,
you're playing like a good boy.
Appreciate it, and I just, like I say, you know, on my channel, that's why I keep banging on sometimes about being relevant, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be, you know, when people look at my channel, they're investing in me. It's not a brand. It's not a, you know, I'm not reviewing a bike every week or kit or club bar or nothing. Do you know what I mean? I talk about stuff like the bike canard, or why I've changed boots, or why I've done this, or what do you think of that bike, or do you know what I mean? It's more, it's probably more old school than new school now. It's gone back. I'm kind of trying to keep it back how it used to be, the vlogger, the riding your bike, having a chat, and then the comments and everybody else come in the video. The comments come within the video then, and you gain your relationship then through the video. So, you know, I got the terminology to sit there and try and explain how good fucking three layer laminate is on a fucking rucker suit. You know, I ain't got that in.
I haven't got the interest either. Like I'm exactly the same place as you at the moment, in that I'm kind of like, I'm not the channel. I'm not producing. For me, I'm not producing what I want to produce, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to produce. But I know I don't want to be a bike channel. I don't want to be a bike review channel. That's not. I've never wanted to be that. It's just, bike's a part of it because I love them and I love riding bikes. But I like travel, I like meeting people, I like new bits of kit. You know, like I like trying stuff out and going to new places and chatting to new people. And I love this. You know, I love the podcast. I love this opportunity just to you know, have a beer and chat shit with people. And
I must admit that I had, like I say, with me and Dave was talking the other day, and Richie Video also said to me last weekend, and he was like my live streams. He was like, there ain't many people who are doing that type of live stream. And I was like, I started it because I've been on a few live streams with different people, and you know, you just think to yourself, not being disrespectful to them people, but you know, you look at it, you think, I could do better than that. I could make that into something a little bit more interesting. Put a little bit of spice into it. Put a little bit of personality into it, and you can make it your own. And the amount of people who have come up to me and it was like, your midweek wumble's absolutely brilliant. I'll get as many views on the midweek wumble as I do on some of my videos. So brilliant. I'm like,
brilliant.
And I love it. And it's like I say to people, I've said it to you in the past, you know, it's nice when people text you, I can make this week, I can do this week, because you don't feel like then sometimes I feel like I'm pestering people.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. You're on a hunt, aren't you? Looking for people.
Yeah.
Try and get people.
You know, like sometimes, like I always, when me and you message, you know what I mean? I always say you're always welcome. If you get, obviously, if you get a spare Wednesday, you're always welcome on. You know, there's no invite needed. The same as when I spoke to Richie and Andy and a lot of other channels, all the channels I speak to. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you want to come on, just please message me, because it just saves me that feeling of me pestering people. Do you want to come on? Oh, so do you want to come on? Do you want to come on? And then you almost feel like you're almost begging people to come on, but you pay, but that's how you feel.
I'm in exactly the same boat. It's exactly the same with me. You know, I try and work like a month to 6 weeks ahead normally. You know, so you're always trying to contact people and, you know, would you like to come on? Would you like to come on? And with new people, it's probably one out of every, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 sort of inquiries that you make with people. One person might actually get back to you. And then, you know, like you want to get, you know, I'll get you back on. You want to get other people back on that have been on before and stuff. But at the same extent, you don't want it to be the same faces all the time. You want to try and keep it fresh, don't you? But you do sometimes feel like, you know, you're just. Yeah, does anyone want to come on? Is anyone interested? Please.
I mean, I'm quite fortunate because I've got a good group of like 10 people that of when I first started my life, that was the initial 10 I was asking. So, you know, all I wanted to do was kind of say to them guys, you know, I don't want to use and abuse you, but at the same time, if you're free, let me know. You know, because hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, it'll help all our channels, not just my channel, it'll help all our channels. So
yeah, definitely.
You know, he might get a bit of, you know, momentum. So, but no, and like I say, I did text you, but I appreciate this opportunity, mate, to come on here. So, and tell my little story.
Pleasure, and I'll guarantee that you'll have reached out and touched other people out there who are going to benefit from. Not in that way.
Sorry,
but you know what I mean.
Serious, and I brought it down. Go on, say it again.
You have, but you will have helped some people out there who maybe would have been in the same position that you were in previously. So you know, fantastic, great work. Where do people go then? You're talking about the midweek mumble. Where do people go if they want to watch? So just come onto my channel, the Peaky Biker. I do it every Wednesday between 8 and 9 p.m. every Wednesday. And like I say, the way I try and portray it is there's 3 or 4 lads sat in a boozer having a chat, and it's not just about bikes; it's about kit, equipment, life in general. You know, it's solely about bikes, but you know, it usually is. But it's just a laugh. It's just 4 lads together having a chat, having a beer. I try and make it as relaxed as possible. I've got no agenda. I usually start on one agenda and then try and let the conversation flow as natural as possible for the hour. Gotcha. So lovely. Right, folks, make sure you check that out. Obviously, check out Brian's channel as well. And if you like what you're seeing, give him a like, a follow, subscribe. And share. Sharing at the moment, sharing is one of the biggest things you can do to support a creator on any of the social platforms. If you can share it with people that you think might be interested, or share it on your page, your platforms, that massively helps us out because it helps with the reach. It's harder than ever at the moment to try and, you know, get the net out there 100%. And scoop up new viewers. So if you can share it, big help for all of us. Dude, been an absolute pleasure. I loved it. Been great to chat and hear more about the backstory.
Yeah. Well, you will in a minute.
Right, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Make sure you check out all the links down below. Keep doing your thing. Get on out there whenever you can. Look after those that you love. But most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha! Right, let's stop this and then hear the story.